This is a video that I have been sitting on for a while now, because going in to see Battle of Five Armies, I was planning to do a video about how I like the Hobbit trilogy a little bit more than the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I also really like. But after seeing Battle of Five Armies, I don't think I can do that now. There were just so many loose ends that I actually think it broke the movie. So I wanted to wait and see what other reviewers had to say before I made this, because maybe I missed something, but it doesn't seem like I have, so here we are. I'm just kind of making this to see if I'm crazy or not. Am I missing the answers to all these questions? If I am, please tell me in the comments, because this isn't me trying to bag out the movie. This is me genuinely wanting to know these answers, because I love Middle-earth. I'm one of those people that has a Lord of the Ring marathon like once a year, and I'm hoping that they keep making spin-off movies because I just enjoy that world. I just enjoy being in Middle-earth. So obviously, huge spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, don't watch this because we're going to give away all the ending. But if you have seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, let's begin. 24 questions about Battle of Five Armies. Number 1, who had the Arkenstone by the end of the movie? The last we saw of it is when the bard guy had it in his coat. Did he keep it? Did he give it back to the dwarves? Did the Elf King get it? Did Bilbo steal it back again? What happened? Who had the Arkenstone by the end of the movie? Number 2, did anybody get a share of the treasure that was in the Lonely Mountain? Everyone just seems to kind of forget about it and leave. Even the people of Lake Town who need that gold to rebuild their town after the dragon destroyed everything, even they just kind of forget it. So does all of Middle-earth just collectively decide to not worry about a giant, unguarded mountain filled with gold? Somehow I don't think so. Number 3, did the Elf King Thranduil ever get his white jewel necklace back? Or did he just forget about that as well? It seemed pretty important to him. He brought an entire army there to get it, and he just leaves without it? Kinda weird. Number 4, what happened to the Billy Connolly dwarf? Did he die? Did he survive? Is he the king of the dwarfs now because Thorin is dead? Number 5, what happened to the Billy Connolly army? Did they get completely destroyed, or did some of them survive? If some of them survived, did they claim the mountain? If not, why not? Number 6, why did the eagles show up at the end again? Seriously, Peter Jackson, you are aware of how they derail the story every time that you put them in. You've mentioned it in interviews before. I know that you're aware of it. So why do you keep doing it? Is it like an in-joke between you and the fans? Because that joke's getting kind of old now. Number 7, why did the Skin Changer show up at the end and then do nothing? He flies in on an eagle, turns into a bear, and then just disappears from the story completely. You don't even see him thump a single orc. Why was he even there? Likewise, number 8, why did Radagast the Brown show up and then also do nothing? 9, why did Azog the Defiler attack the dwarf and the elf armies when he could clearly see from his vantage point that they were about to start fighting each other? He could have just waited for the elves and the dwarfs to wipe each other out and then killed whoever was left, especially since he knew that there was a whole second army on the way. But he instead decides to attack immediately so that they unite against him. That seems like really bad strategy. Is he just a dumb orc, or was there some reason for that? Number 10, who were the 5 armies? So there was elves, dwarfs, orcs, more orcs, and the people of Lake Town. The people of Lake Town are not an army, they're just people who happen to be there. And if 2 of the armies are orcs, then they're really just all one big army, so that's 3, not 5. It should have been elf, dwarf, orcs, goblins fighting alongside the orcs, and then a human army shows up, maybe being led by like Boromir or his brother. That would have been really awesome. I don't care if it's not in the book, but that would have been awesome. And it would actually add up as 5 armies. 11, how did Azog the Defiler sink into the ice? I mean, I get that Thorin throws the rock at him, but he could have just let the rock go. Even the chain itself, it wasn't tied around his wrist. He could just let that go, so why did he sink? Just drop the rock. 12, why did Thranduil tell Legolas to go and find Aragorn when we know that they're not going to meet until the Fellowship is formed in the first Lord of the Rings movie? Was that just to link it to the first movie, even though it makes no sense? 13. What were those ghost things that tried to defend Sauron? Were they the early versions of the ring wraiths? If so, why did they look so different? 14. What happened with Sauron? Galadriel banished him to the north or whatever. How did she have the power to do that all of a sudden? 15. If she had the power to do that, what was stopping her from doing it in The Lord of the Rings? 16. Was Saruman in league with Sauron at that point yet? In the first 2 Hobbit movies, it kind of seems like he was, but then in this one it seemed like he wasn't yet. What's up with that? 17. So was Thorin just a complete failure at the end? He failed to reclaim the dwarf's homeland, he failed to retrieve the Arkenstone, and he failed to defend the Lonely Mountain. The only thing that he did succeed at was killing Azog, and he kind of made a mess out of that too because he ended up dead. Which leads me to another question. 18. Did Azog succeed in wiping out the lineage of Thorin as he vowed that he would do? Because it seems like he did. He beheaded Thorin's grandfather, Thorin's father went crazy and disappeared and is presumed dead, and now he's killed Thorin, who I'm guessing doesn't have an heir because they never mention one. So Azog did succeed in wiping out his lineage, right? So how is any of this a victory? 19. Why didn't Gandalf try to figure out what kind of ring Bilbo had if he knew that he had a magic ring all along? 20. What was the point of the giant bats? The orcs bring along all these giant bats for the battle, and they don't do anything. What was the point of even bringing them in the first place? Were they there to try to stop the eagles from flying in? 21. How did the eagles fly in if there were millions of evil bats in the air? 22. Why didn't they use the giant dune-like worms to take out the rival armies? Just tunnel up right underneath them. Or better yet, tunnel straight into the treasure room. Would be a lot easier. 23. Why was it played as a turning point in the battle when Thorin and the other dwarfs join in the fight? There's only like 10 of them. That's not going to make a difference. How is that going to help? It was the eagles that won the battle, not them. And finally, 24. Why was Bilbo so sure that Thorin won't go crazy and kill him for giving the Arkenstone to Bard, when the whole reason that he took the Arkenstone in the first place was because he knows that Thorin is becoming a crazy, psychotic lunatic? Okay, that's it. Please put your answers in the comments if you know, because I'm sure that there must be at least some answers to these that I've missed, because it's very unlike Peter Jackson to leave so many loose ends. You know, you can complain all you want about the long ending of Return of the King, but he did that to give a conclusion to each one of the story points. Whereas in Battle of Five Armies, everything just kind of seems to fizzle out. Who knows, you know, maybe there's going to be like a super long extended Blu-ray version of the movie that is going to include all this extra stuff and answers that. Actually, come to think of it, that's probably very likely that will happen. But in the meantime, I'll include in the description a long list of all these questions if you want to answer any for me. And until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.